page 2002. The Holocaust, Genocide and Human Rights is a subject about which students at the university ought to learn. Students knew so little about this very, very important subject, which in a nutshell, the Holocaust, for those who don't know, is the planned industrialized murder of the Jews of Europe during the Second World War, so from 1939 to 1945, when 6 million Jews were murdered in and by Nazi Germany and German-occupied Europe. But by studying the Holocaust, we come to learn all sorts of things, most important of which is that civilization itself is only a veneer, it's paper thin, that a country can go from being highly civilized and collapse into a state of barbarism within a matter of months.
纳粹德国从一个经济、军事、工业上被制裁的一个国家，发展成当时欧洲最强大的国家，然后跟苏联爆发了战争。通过这门课，让我对这一部分历史有成体系的了解。
The Holocaust. It is also a very important historical event in the human history. Why are human beings always killing each other? We can really interact with each other in this course and learn from each other from different perspectives.
The course itself, this is a general or let's say comprehensive course. At least you work out. Students should have a comprehensive understanding of this place, touching upon different dimensions of its history, political and economic, but also cultural, social, in many different ways, from different angles or aspects. We also have some primary source analysis. They are woven into the course. So we do analysis of old maps, some types of visual sources like photographs and paintings to help the students understand the history they're reading about is actually made.
It's not only about Nkar. It also has some history of China and Portugal, as well as have some connections with the areas and countries both in Europe and Asia. This is a global view of the history. I will be more extensive in the future.
This course is a compulsory course taken by Year 2 students of the Bachelor degree in Portuguese Studies. It's generally to advance the students' proficiency in their oral production of Portuguese as well as their comprehension of oral texts. The student can progressively become more apt at Portuguese language as it is used in its oral version in the real world. Students will listen to texts chosen by the teacher, presented with different types of comprehension exercises, wherein they are presented with situations and they will have to create dialogues or monologues based on those situations. Normally they are also, of course, always related to everyday contexts and situations and topics, increasingly becoming more complex. So from talking to very ordinary everyday activities and situations to more abstract topics such as future professions or the economic situation or cultural topics as well.
This class raised my interest in speaking Portuguese out of class with my classmates instead of Chinese all the time, and I also learned some ways to analyze and practice listening using the real recording from Portugal radios.
The content of this course is very interesting, which makes me more motivated to learn Portuguese. And our professor, Professor Mario, always encourages us to speak more, which makes me feel more comfortable and confident every time when I speak Portuguese.
中国语言与华人社会这门课是中文系开设的通识选修课。那从授课内容上来说，这门课从社会语言学的角度，对国家通用语普通话、汉语方言和华人社区的关系做了全面和深入的介绍，让同学们了解到中国内地、香港、澳门、台湾以 及海外华人社区的汉语生活，让他们从中感受到汉语、汉字对于凝聚中国人以及华人的身份认同的重要作用，增强他们对国家的认同感，对澳门社区的认同感。这门课呢，涉及到很多海外华人社区的案例，可以拓展同学们的全球视野，因而这门课深受同学们的欢迎。每年有选修意愿的同学非常多，这也是我们中文系语言学方向全体同仁共同努力的结果。
这门课是以社会语言学的角度面向大多数学生的一门通识课，就在课上可以非常普及性的学到很多世界范围之内华语和中国语言以及各地方言生存的现状，以及透过这些语言背后了解各地民系、各地民族和华人的背后的文化。那通过这门课上学到的知识，我可以了解到像港澳台地区，包括马来西亚、新加坡以及大陆内部各地方言的这个文化和他们语言使用现状。而通过这些，我可以更加了解这个地方的历史发展的背景，以及他们现状之下要怎么去改善和传承自己的语言。就在每节课上，我都可以了解到不同国家他们华人的这个语言使用情况，以及他们各地的语言景观和语言政策，了解这些地方的华语现状和他们华语发展历史背景，会对文学的了解呢更有深入。
This course, Introduction to Western Philosophy, is intended for undergraduate students who do not have a background in Western philosophy. Students in my course usually are exposed to philosophy for their first time in their life. And what we are doing in this course is discuss some of the main questions that have occupied philosophers for centuries, questions that are fundamental for our existence in this world, and questions that usually already have in their life even before taking the course. One other aspect of this course is that it also involves movie screenings. We will watch movies that are related to the topic that we are addressing, the certain period of the course, and while watching the movie, students will be able to apply what they have learned during the lesson in the context of a scenario which is a fictional scenario. Therefore, they will be able to discuss movies by means of philosophical concepts by relying on philosophical reasoning and employing the philosophical terminology.
For me, the main contents that I have learned in this course is about the different branches of philosophy, such as epistemology and ontology. And we also dived into the world of different philosophers, such as Plato, Aristotle, Descartes. And moreover, we also covered a little bit about AI and functionalism, which is really relevant, especially with the development of technology today.
Interesting thing about this course that I really like is the incorporation with movie screenings. Actually, I have learned so much through watching these movies. While watching these movies, I could just incorporate the theoretical framework that I've just learned in this course into the movie. I didn't just watch this movie, but rather I reflected on the knowledge that I have learned.
I'd like to begin by referring to a few lines from As You Like It. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. This is a comment about life, and in Shakespeare's works, we get to see his characters experience full spectrum of human emotions and experiences. There is the youthful innocence, first love, intense lust, misplaced trust, mistaken identities, acts of benevolence, acts of violence, feelings of guilt, grief, loss, betrayal, hatred, jealousy, prejudice, persecution, reconciliation, forgiveness. The list goes on.
The reason why I enrolled this course is because I've always knew that Shakespeare has always been a grand topic for the whole human race, and it's also a must-read for all students who study English literature. And when I was reading Shakespeare on my own before I enrolled this course, I often found it pretty hard to understand a lot of complex topics within the work. And I believe this is a grand topic that needs to be guided by professors, teachers, and to introduce you to some of the complex topics, not only about plot, but also about the cultural backgrounds and some very interesting elements, for example, music, religious element, etc.
The first time I heard about the course of Shakespeare was a recommendation by my friend. At that time, she was taking that course, and he told me that he was very amazed by how the course was designed and performed. So I was quite curious about that. So this year I took that course.
Right, so this course, conference interpreting, of course, we train conference interpreters. Of course, it includes all the essential skills that conference interpreters are expected to have. Well, they would know by the end of the course, they will know how to operate the latest equipment, how to function in multilingual setting. And they will understand the role of interpreters, which actually goes beyond just the language transfer. I will have to say, conference interpreting traditionally as a postgraduate course, and sometimes only PhD students will be given the opportunity to receive training, and sometimes it will be at master's degree level. However, here, because we have the resources, and recent research indicate that the earlier you start, the better. And it turns out that with the latest equipment, with more advanced training methods, and of very talented students, the training cycle actually has become shorter. Our students, maybe not all of them will become conference interpreters. However, they will acquire all the essential skills in conference management, and that will make them an asset as they join the workforce. Because as you know, Macau is a cosmopolitan city, and gaming and tourist industry is very important for Macau. So therefore, multilingual facilitators would be indispensable for our industry, and our students, after they graduate, they will directly contribute to Macau's conference and exhibition industry. They will be ready for that. Of course, for full conference interpreters, it's expected that they would receive further training at postgraduate level. Here, we have cutting-edge research to support, to inform our teaching. For example, we have neuroimaging technology, we have eye tracking technology, and we can explore how our brain works, how the interpreter's brain works, what is a more efficient way of training, and that inform our teaching. So by the time I became an independent full conference interpreter, I was already in my late 20s. However, now we have students in their early 20s already are very good at conference interpreting and can take on independent tasks and work for important events.
My major is Japanese studies, so obviously this course is one of the compulsory courses for my major. Secondly, learning a language is all about listening, reading, writing, and speaking. While this course combines listening and speaking, and more importantly, it is taught by Japanese instructors, so it enables me to learn to speak Japanese more authentically and avoid the dilemma of dumb Japanese, which often occurs in language learning. In this course, I have learned a lot of native Japanese expressions and more standard pronunciation. I have learned many simple daily conversations, like ordering in a restaurant, asking for directions, inviting a friend to hang out together, and so on. In the class, we often have a variety of simulation exercises and interesting games to practice. Through these sessions, I also became familiar with my classmates and knew a lot about Japanese culture. I am am one of those students who are better at written expressions, so this course allowed me to practice my Japanese skills in a variety of aspects, especially listening and speaking. So for example, because of the attention to small details during the class, I was able to grasp more information and better understand the content when doing listening exercises. And in the meanwhile, I had more confidence in speaking and communicating Japanese in real life. I think that learning a language is not just about memorizing vocabulary and learning grammar, but it is also about understanding another country's culture through its language. I can experience the way of thinking of different people from different countries, and meanwhile I may even find out another version of myself when using a foreign language.
So if I have to describe this project-based academic English class in one word, I would use the word engagement. So students need to actively seek out problems that they see and try to solve them in a real-world situation. But in order to achieve that, they need to use the academic skills that they've learned in class. So for example, research skills, presentation skills, proposal writing skills. They need to use all of these skills combined with their own ideas that they have generated to solve a real-world problem. And on top of that, they need to collaborate with their classmates in order to make their project come to life. Quite a few of my students have decided to focus on screen time reduction and also stress reduction. So they're doing something, and again, the academic skills are research. They need to know that the activities, the replacement activities they suggest to their participants need to be evidence-based. So they can't just randomly come up with an activity and suggest that people try it out. So they need to employ their research skills, and again, there are presentation skills and academic writing skills that are involved in creating different kinds of activities for their participants. So as a teacher in this course, I find it to be quite challenging, honestly, because I can't control the kinds of ideas that students come up with, but that's also the fun part, is always or never knowing what ideas they would come up with, and then working with students to kind of shape their ideas into something that can be one, doable, meaning they can actually implement the idea. So that takes a lot of critical thinking and negotiating with students and asking guided questions to help them see that maybe some of their ideas it's good, but probably you can't implement it within the time frame of a few weeks in a semester. As a teacher in this project-based course, I find that to be simultaneously to be the most challenging, but also the most enjoyable.